My name's Clint, and I'm a quality manager of an agency that has about 100 Qualtrax users. Qualtrax has really simplified our document control system. Our previous document control system was extremely cumbersome and difficult to change. The amount of changes that we're able to do now is phenomenal, and then the access to our staff to the actual published documents is really increased. People find it a lot easier to find the actual document they're looking for, so that's been very helpful. We used to use a combination. I mean, we've always been a digital system for several years, but we used to use a combination of either a network shared folders or a SharePoint system or somebody's thumb drive. So we had information in multiple locations, which was the worst part, I think. And so when we were trying to get ready for an audit or something, you had to remember all these locations where everything was at to pull it in. Qualtrax has made it a lot simpler by the fact that we now keep everything in Qualtrax. And so if anybody even asks us now, where should we keep this? I mean, it's not, nobody even asks anymore, really. It's just like, it's just going straight in Qualtrax. Now we just have to decide what folder it goes in, which makes it a lot simpler. Our staff, when we first got Qualtrax, really enjoyed the simplicity of it. It was from what we used to use in a different environment where we never knew exactly where to find the document, so it was really easy for them to adopt the system. The Qualtrax system is based on folders, basically, and so during the training, when we trained Qualtrax, literally I gave my entire staff maybe 30 minutes of training, and that was it, and then they've been able to use it ever since. Basically, I just put Windows Explorer with the document, the normal document folders next to Qualtrax with the document folders open, and they're like, oh, that's easy. And really, that was pretty much it. They knew exactly where to look for it, and so the adoption was really quick. I would say mostly it's time, the time of actually using it, the time for the analysts to locate what the documents they need. They save time. I save time as quality manager. Our laboratory managers save time. Everybody just saves a lot of time, and not just the access to documents, but because they're so easy to access and change, we save a lot of time on fixing possible problems. You know, if there was a problem because they didn't realize they were looking at the right document, and so they did a test in a different order than they should have, because they're so easy to change and they're always up to date, and people only have access to the most current version. I think it also saves time on the corrective action process at the end too. We're audited at least twice a year. They're a combination of internal audits, required internal audits, or required external audits. So at least twice a year. It's usually every 6 months. I try to balance them out to where we're not doing a bunch of audits at one time, but also to make sure that your system is running properly throughout the year. We both see our standards are both ISO 17025 for testing laboratories, and the quality assurance document from the FBI for DNA testing laboratories. Those are the two standards that we audit to. Audit preparation time is much easier now because everything's in one place. We set up our tree, our folder tree really simply, so we can use the publish, revision, download tool. So literally I have like all my staff and all their records in one folder. So I can just go to the main folder, click on that, get the publish revisions tool, and download that whole thing in one zip file, and then say, here you go, here's all the training documents for our staff. And even if we don't allow our auditors to get into Qualtrax themselves, just that tool alone can document exact way we have it, the way they would see it. So when they open it up on their computers, they know exactly where everything's at. So it makes it much easier. The biggest savings for our Qualtrax workflows, it saved us not only time, but it saved us confusion, and it saved us, of course, a mountain of paperwork and the organization of it. We use several workflows system-wide. We're a laboratory that has basically 4 different laboratories spread out across the entire state. So to get all 4 of those to do everything exactly the same, to train everybody exactly the same, it makes it, the workflows make it easier because everybody uses the same workflow no matter what location they're located, so they just click and go. So it saved us a lot of time, not only trying to do the workflow, but trying to find the workflow later. That was always tough. You know, somebody would do a form or something, and then you're trying to find that record later, and you know you have it somewhere. Now it's just, you know, you just run a report and locate it pretty quickly. Finding any information in Qualtrax really is three main ways you can find it that makes it so much easier. One is the folder tree. If you set your folders up real easy, you know exactly where to go because of the way the folders are named, the way they're color coded, whether they're bolded. I mean, you can find it really, really easy. The second way, of course, is the search thing, and I use the search actually less than the folder. Because if you set your folders up right, it's pretty easy to find. But sometimes you get deep when you're looking for workflows or something. The search button is really, really easy to use. You have to be careful with that. It's like Google. You know, you search for one thing and you end up with 10,000 hits. So you have to really pay attention to that. And then the other way to find stuff that I use a lot is also the reports. You run a report on a workflow, and then you can sort it. By whatever column you want it to, or do an instance, so you can search for like a specific person, a specific vendor, a specific product, a specific instance that you're looking for, and you can just run it through the reports and find it. And any of those avenues literally takes a minute, maybe, but so it's much easier. We have a couple different things that I have to use in the training and testing part of Qualtrax, and we use the training and testing part for some of our required trainings, like we have to everybody has to have annual safety training, and then the other part I really like to use it for is to acknowledge that they've read and received certain policies or documents that we have to really make sure they do. It's really great because the managers can check to see if their people have actually done it. You run that nice little training matrix, pick the ones you need to do, and it just it shows up right there, big red X on somebody. They know who to go talk to. That's made me a lot easier because we used to just have a form where they would just fill it out and send it in, and then it would go through 5 people, and then nobody knew exactly where to store that form, when to look for it later, to know even if they actually did it once they handed them out. So each individual manager had to have some kind of their own system. And they got enough stuff going on. That was the last thing on their mind. So now I just run that thing once a week, and then I just send emails to the managers that need to do it, and it's tremendously different, helpful. So it's worked pretty good.